Oh, y'all got our summons, and by the looks of it, it's from Hope Kingdom. Good luck with that. We opened, unfortunately, with the return of that pointless prologue of the narrator passing on her duties to Yui, though now she was joined by the rest of her team, who proceeded to laugh like this was the end of a sitcom or something. Well, anyway, the episode proper opened with Kokone inviting her friends to her family's restaurant, which of course they all accepted, I mean free food and all. Well, okay, to be fair, it was also fancy French food, I think, so it should be graciously appreciated. Though I'm not even sure if these two even understood that much, as they intended to ask for second servings, as well as soft serve for dessert, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure neither of those are at a fancy French restaurant. Yeah, understandably, Amane panicked and decided to give them a crash course in table manners and... And while Ron and Yui's idiot act has kind of run its course for me, I will say I at least appreciate that they managed to get something out of Omni as a result. Okay, I still have a lot of issues with this character, but I will not blame any of that on Ai Kayano's acting. Seriously, just give me one darkness scream and I'll start reconsidering my opinion on her. Anyway, I also did like this little bit of the Manners quiz show, which was teaching some basic, though also very important lessons that not everyone, especially the target audience, will immediately know, and even kind of wish it had gone on just a little longer, but it was enough for what it was. In the end though, Kokone got everything right, while the other two got everything wrong, which, okay, even if table manners are different between the East and West, there should be at least some overlap, or do these two really have to pull a SpongeBob?
Empty your mind of everything that doesn't have to do with fine dining.
Meanwhile, at the lair of the bundles, we got legit my favorite scene of this whole episode, as not only did it feature Best Bad Boy Narcissus, but an actually really funny bit of Secretary trolling him into thinking Godotsu was in the room. It had great comedic timing, worked well with the characters' established personalities, and even kind of furthered the dissension between these two. And from there, it wrapped up with an equally funny bit of them playing a game of chicken over who'd salute first. Yeah, because I'm sure it's such an honor to do your little fist bump salute that I think even Shocker would say is kind of lame. In contrast, we cut back to our heroines at a rental dress studio called the Rental Dress Studio.
Redundant? Much redundant?
And of course, Yui and Ron were excited, though surprisingly so was Kokone. No, Kokone! If you keep going down this path, the writers are gonna forget to develop your character! Also, for whatever reason, I guess they also had dresses for plushies, otherwise why the hell would they have dresses that fit the energy fairies? I mean seriously, what else could they have here that's completely out of place?
Alright, now that's just ridiculous.
I don't know, when the comedy just feels this forced, it just doesn't work for me. Still, it did at least lead into another good moment where Kokone gave a good definition for what table manners really were, a means of being considerate to your fellow restaurant goers. It's a very basic, yet very fundamental principle that a certain someone overlooked, and thus let these two instantly understand a lot more about manners. Granted, it still didn't excuse the fact that they seemed to lack common sense, but whatever, good scene that even led into another good one, with Amane later thanking Kokone for her much-needed follow-up. It was especially nice, as at least they were starting to give us some insight into this character's thought process and personality, beyond just being the sometimes stoic heroine that we still have no backstory for, but again, take what you can get. And at least they were also giving us some good Kokone development, with her showing subtle signs that she was lonely without her parents, but also emulating their teachings just to keep them close to her heart. Honestly, really good stuff that does emphasize the difference a writer can make, but more on that at the end. The big day soon arrived, and I guess in place of the usual food Pron this week, they decided to emphasize everyone's fancy clothes to sell some of that other merch. I mean, not really complaining, as these designs were cute enough, though personally I prefer the food, but whatever. Though, speaking of which... Okay, so little issue I've been having for a while now, and I've actually been trying to let it slide, but do they really have to make these victims of the week so blatant? I mean, I get that these characters are supposed to have targets on their back, but the way they're established, at least for this part of the series, just doesn't feel all that natural. I mean, back when Omni was a baddie, we just need to see people enjoying their food to figure that she'd strike, no real issue there. Here though, people have to say why they have memories of enjoying their food, which, most people won't do and just eat the damn thing. Not to mention, this week's memories were just kind of lame, with these guys just saying that it was worth saving up the money to pay for the higher asking prices. Like, if the food was that good, won't they immediately make some new memories after Narcissist strains them? Because so far we haven't really established that it's affected the actual taste of it, and
the answer is don't think about it.
Also, really? Everyone, at least in this part of the restaurant, ordered the chicken? I mean, I like chicken, but come on, the fish looks good too. Anyway, the monster of the week was a bowl and wine opener, which, yeah, would a lot of kids know what the latter item is? Well, it doesn't really matter, because instead of, say, a drill or something, it instead just fired lasers out of its openers. Oh well, at least its other attacks made more sense with a bull stomach that could exert and introvert at will, giving him a strong defense, except for its head, which Takumi managed to take advantage of. Yeah, thankfully, he got a much better showing this week, and even avoided any cucking, though he also lost points for being a little bit of a stalker. Bruh, no, you can do much better at this point. Though that was also mostly because Amine was too busy trying to ship herself with Kokone this week rather than Yui. Because yeah, if she doesn't have much of a character, then just ship her with everyone. I'm sure that'll make up for everything. Anyway, the fight just kind of ended when Kokone blocked one attack, and then Amine delivered the finishing blow. One of the few characters who's carrying this whole show on their backs. And with that, the episode ended with, of course, everyone enjoying their food, and then starting up a restaurant-wide dance, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure that counts as bad manners, as I think at least a handful of patrons would just want to eat their food, but whatever, gotta make those dresses look nice, am I right? This was, better than last week, I guess. I mean, it's still filler, but at the very least, there was a clear conflict and some development for two characters, which unfortunately is a bit of a rarity these days. Still, it is appreciated, especially as what appears to be a part of a requisite line of Omni Spotlight episodes to help sell her new toys, so yeah, they should do what they can to make her as appealing as possible. I also do kind of wish they didn't have to downplay our other two main heroines as total doofuses just for the sake of the plot. This week was the second episode written by Precure veteran writer Mutsumi Ito, who, while for whatever reason has only ever been a secondary writer, still has a lot of clear tenure. The first half of the episode clearly showed this, with her giving us some much needed characterization for at least two of our main heroines, and even the villains. And I especially like how she can do this through comedy, like with the lessons, and of course the baddies just dicking around. Sure, not all of it worked for me, though I think that speaks more to how overplayed Ron and Yui's idiot acts are at this point for me. It not only feels repetitive, but also is getting in the way of their development. Hopefully Ron overcomes it next week, while Yui, I'm not even sure what they can do with her at this point. Still, the stuff between Kokore and Omni was nice, and while I think the latter still needs a proper backstory, and I'll keep saying that until they give it to us, at least they are now establishing some legit character flaws with her, beyond just the fact that she was a mostly harmless villain. Meanwhile, the second half of the episode was just kind of standard fare, which Ito didn't even really seem to care about, as we didn't even really get a good reason for the restaurant goers to have fond memories of their expensive food. It wasn't bad, and at least Takumi got to do more, but compared to the first half, it was just kind of there. I mean, I guess their dresses were cute, but I'll take a nice plate of pasta over it any day of the week. Still, overall, a much better outing than usual, and we can only hope that in spite of her limited time on the show, Ito can act as a good guide to the rest of the writer's room. Hopefully, everyone will mind their manners and at least show the vets some respect. Work on the next 6 Ranger video is going well, and it should be out sometime at the beginning of August or so. It's certainly going to be a lengthy one, just looking at the script, but it should also hopefully be worth the wait. And if anything, it also gives time for certain props to arrive just in time for the final shoots. So look forward to it. And until then though, for now my friends, and always remember, pinky finger. It helps to balance out the flash better.